Do you think they're genuine about each other?
No.
Just breaking my heart again. Welcome back to Love Island or Lie Island. It's looking like things are about to kick off. We're finally at the end of week 2 and it's all getting very exciting. 2 new girls have just arrived in the villa. Sherif has been axed and the cracks are beginning to show, I think, in some of the strong couples. Luckily, we have body language expert Judy James here with us. She's going to tell us exactly what's going on behind the scenes, and we're going to start with the new girls who came in last night.
Yes.
So Maura and Elma walked in, and Maura in particular looks like she's going to stir the pot. She's doing some hardcore grafting with Tommy, and Molly May is not happy. So let's take a look at the clip.
I don't play games either because I know what I want in life. And I'm going to go out and get it. I ain't got time for no games.
Yeah, I like that.
That's just the way I am. I'm passionate about boxing. I want to be a world champion.
Yeah.
And that's what's going to happen. And
sure, you will be. With those arms.
You better without the shirt on. I know what I want.
So let's start with the obvious. I think Maura is doing all the right things to reel Tommy in.
Oh, to reel anybody in. I mean, there'll be people at home being reeled into their set with her. She is absolutely industrial strength, isn't she? She doesn't even flirt. She cuts through that. It's just, do you want me or not, basically. I love his body language, though, because it's identical with every girl that he's kind of dated at the moment. Okay. He does this incredibly sincere. He steeples his eyebrows, looking slightly pleading, as though maybe no girl's ever fancied him before, which is clearly rubbish. His eyes have got that kind of... you know, it's taken me ages to find somebody that I might love. So incredibly sincere with lots of eye contact and hands below the seat, so he self-diminishes. And he sounds as though he's on a job interview for a boxer. I've always wanted to be a boxer, you know, I've got focus and it's as though he thinks she's going to give him a job. But he does it with all the girls, and worryingly, it looks incredibly sincere each time as well.
What do you think that says about him?
That he probably chats up a lot of girls like that. I mean, how many weeks are we in now? We've seen it 3 times already. Mm-hmm. I think that's his act. But what we saw before, which is his giveaway, when Maura walked in, did you see him and Danny doing a whole male dance of delight? I mean, that's a bit of a giveaway, wasn't it, really?
The boys completely lost it. What was your first thought upon seeing that reaction? I mean, all 4 of them kind of...
They weren't even subtle about it, were they? I mean, it was like cartoons when the eyes come out like that. I mean, to do a little victory dance, clutching one another with sheer delight, as though they've been given a load of sweeties. And that's the slightly annoying thing. They immediately assumed, although maybe they were right, that these 2 girls had just been sent in as new sweets from the sweet shop for them, and it was up to them to choose now. But it was almost childlike, because they had got, standing like a foot above their head, the evil eyes from the girls. It was hilarious. That and the open sandwich made my night.
Do you think that Maura was genuine in anything that she was saying or doing, using the body language to analyse that?
I think that's how she operates in a way. She's obviously gone in there to be what I call a little bit of an irritant, shake it all up a little bit, because they were coupling up, weren't they? And it was going to get incredibly boring. It was literally going to be Love Island, rather than fight and have sex under the duvet island, which we know and love. I mean, who ever took the title seriously? So I think she probably knows that she's been sent in there like an Exocet missile to stir things up, and she was very good at it, very direct. But they clearly do fancy one another. You know, superficial it might be, but clearly there's physical attraction there, and I believed her when she was, because she then went back, didn't she, to Elma and said, I'd love to scream his name or whatever. I love these chat-up lines.
Yeah.
Lots of eye contact from her, and I think, in a way, and it was quite good to see, he's obviously the big alpha, desirable flirt in there, but she absolutely got him his own game, and she was direct and she used eye contact, so it's his game now. It's his game. She may have scared him off. That'd be quite interesting.
Molly May, however, was up on that terrace staring literal lasers into the back of their heads. She didn't look away from them once, and she did kind of look quite panicked.
Yes.
Is she worried about her relationship with Tommy, or do you think she's more worried about her security in the villa?
I think her security, and also she went from 1 minute, I mean, she was the man catnip, wasn't she, up until then? I mean, she got 3 guys that she was playing along with, I fancy everybody and everything like that. So that was giving her a certain power amongst the women as well. So her status was absolutely sky high. And in a way, I don't know whether she actually genuinely fancied any of the guys, but status-wise, she was well at the top of the pecking order because she was the most desirable, because she was nicking everybody's men. And then suddenly, in one moment, it all got snatched away from her because Tommy was the prize catch, the one that she decided didn't tick all the boxes, but she'd have him anyway, sort of thing. And suddenly he's been snaffled up by what would be seen to be a pack invader as well. And I love the way they always do it, this little bun on top of her head was wobbling away with indignation.
I think with Molly May though, it's become quite clear the last few days that some of the other girls have got a little bit riled up by the fact that she does think that all the boys that come in are into her. Yeah. Do you think she's aware of their discomfort?
I think it's probably what her life is like outside Love Island as well. She has a very disingenuous way of, I don't know why they all fancy me, which would probably make, the girls have probably been nearly chewing their own nails off with aggravation. And none of the girls want to look bitchy at this particular point, apart from Amy, and we'll come to her later. So they have to kind of pretend that they're friends with her as well. But I think she's playing everything and getting all the airtime as well. So she knows what she's up to, and suddenly her game crumbled.
So also this week, Sherif left the villa. ITV and Sherif both released a statement revealing that he'd left after breaking the rules, but neither of them have revealed any more information. It's unclear when he left as well, but a lot of people think it was after Curtis and Amy had returned from the hideaway. Sherif was not in the bedroom when the boys had their little chat. So let's look at the moment that we think is after his exit.
We labelled it off. No, we labelled the relationship off. So I didn't obviously ask her to be in a relationship or anything, but I said to her, no one's going to come in and turn my head now, I really like you and stuff.
So looking at that scene, is there anything to suggest any awkwardness with the boys or within them, or anything that hinted at something that might have happened?
Firstly, I've got no idea why he left. That formation was quite interesting though, because the guys had kind of reformed as a pack. They look reasonably comfortable, but they'd all started to take different roles. So Curtis, and keep in mind that Curtis is the perfect guy in there. He's the guy that's not going to put a foot wrong, Mr. Nice Guy, and the one that gives all the advice. Suddenly, he was very much an alpha role. So whatever it was, they obviously wanted the wisdom of somebody who's seen as the good one, the keeper of the rules. There was also a veneer of the guys looking subdued, but they were all happy to laugh, and when they did laugh, it was like, we shouldn't laugh really. But when they did laugh, it was quite a naughty laugh. It was almost relief, and so I don't know, but that looked to me as though it was maybe a slightly naughty demeanour rather than anything too unpleasant.
Mm-hmm. I want to take a look at Amy and Curtis, who this week have made themselves semi-official during their time in the hideaway. Then it all kind of got a bit much for Amy. She got very overwhelmed. There were tears. There was a random argument with Lucy and Joe. Let's take a look at the moment, though. We're going to watch their reconciliation, their heart-to-heart after all of that.
I just feel I don't know what to do in this situation, and I'm really scared about pushing you away.
Push me away.
So that's what I mean.
You're not pushing me away.
I know I'm not.
And I shouldn't have told you to. I never meant anything of whatever I said.
I know. I just
I'm sorry that I've made you feel upset.
No, you haven't made me upset. I'm upset just 'cause I'm tired, and because obviously I don't want to push you away, and I'm just scared of doing that. Okay.
Okay, so these two are winning over viewers already, but my first question is, do you think they're genuine about each other?
No.
Just breaking my heart again. Okay, you're going to have to unpack that before we get onto the attention seeking, or maybe that's part of it, but...
Look, you've got the Danny and Jack thing hanging over that house. That's the blueprint from last year. If you want to win, you couple up really early on. You're the couple next door. You probably don't have sex, but you're the nice people. And then you sit around giving advice to everybody else in the house and looking loved up. Mm-hmm. So it would be no surprise that people don't strive to follow in those footsteps. I have to say that Curtis is clearly the patron saint of perfect guys as well, which I'm sure he is.
Yeah.
He looks like a really nice guy. He paired off with Amy and they established that bonding way too soon to really find out what one another was all about. I think Jack and Danny, there was a little bit more sussing one another out. But for these two, it was way too immediate, and then sitting back looking almost too, you know, there's always stages you go through when you first establish a relationship where you're finding out what the other one's like, doing a little bit of bickering or laughing or play fight. They haven't been through all of that. They suddenly look like they've been together for 60 years.
Right.
So that worries me slightly. And the thing that I was really, really interested in was when Amy went rogue on Curtis, because they're supposed to be the nice couple in the house. Mm-hmm. Suddenly she was very, Lucy's stolen our thunder. Why would that worry you? You know, her body language when she does it as well, she's quite passive aggressive. She's very tiny. She'll be nibbling on those huge crisp things. You know, I don't really mean to, but you know, you are ignoring me, blah, blah, blah. And then she'll go away, and then when she gets told off by Curtis, and I'll just talk about that body language as well, she then, oh yeah, tears, centre of attention. She comes back and does it again. She sits down, I just want to explain it. Oh, well, you know, you did ignore me and you did tell me to F off and everything. So for Curtis, who's probably already in his mind that close to winning, because he is the most wonderful guy to have ever stepped off a cloud anywhere, Amy's gone rogue on him. She's not being that nice, and he needs her to be nice as a couple. So what we then saw with the body language, the finger came out. Right, he's now Mr. Controlling. She's laying in the bed. You know, it was done in fun, but like that, and then tapping on her, that was telling her off like a little puppy. And then when she did that scene, he wasn't backing down. The arms were splayed, the hands, he's still being very, I don't mean controlling in a bad way, but he didn't, oh, I'm really sorry, I didn't mean it either. He's going to keep an eye on her. She needs to be very careful. She can't go rogue too often. And sorry, my favourite line, you're being attention-seeking. Where does he think he is? He's gone into Love Island, where girls go in there to walk around in bikinis in front of millions of people and just try to get airtime. Why does he, you know, he's obviously gone on the wrong show, I think, you know. Yes, she would be attention-seeking. She's on Love Island, so that ain't going to work.
She's been quite vocal about the fact that she's never had a boyfriend before. This is sort of, in some respects, her first relationship. Do you think in any way that plays into her insecurities, or do you think she does know what she's doing?
Yeah, she's also like Curtis, and he hasn't either, but they're way too relaxed. You know, if that's your first relationship, I don't know. I'm not going to give her that one, I'm afraid. You know, she's grown up. How many things is she going to blame on that? You know, if the omelette goes wrong, oh, I've never been in a relationship with an egg before. You know, grow up a little bit. I'm not falling for that one. I think that's just to get the tears, and that's going to be the excuse for what. I'm probably maligning her. She's probably, like Curtis, the most wonderful person on this planet. So I will put that as a proviso.
Okay, right. So, also this week, you one day may have hopefully finally found someone who she's connected with. You don't think this is true, do you?
No, I don't.
I can tell already.
I'm worried for her.
We've had a couple of one-on-one moments with these two this week. So let's take a look at last night's chat.
And it was even better than I thought it was going to go. And then just like settling into the villa and stuff, like I feel like you've been like such a massive part of that. Like the nerves just kind of went because like I'm getting to know you. Mm-hmm. I feel like you're bringing like a good side out of me. And I just wanted to say thank you for that.
That's nice.
It's early days for these two. But are there any signs that you're picking up on that they're going in the right direction, the wrong?
I love you, Andy. I mean, I wanted her to be on screen more. And I think we could all feel for her because we've said before, she's got the most natural body language. Mm-hmm. And didn't she go soppy over him? You know, she got her arms between her legs, she got her shirt pulled up. She's studying him. And then the minute he looks at her, she just kept falling into that laugh that, you know, everybody's been there. It became quite alarming in the end. He wanted to perhaps tell her how he felt, and she was over-giggling. I really do feel for her because I don't think Danny is the man for her, really. Okay. She's clearly attracted to him, and I think genuinely attracted to him. I think, though, you know, let's watch him with the other girls that come in. I mean, that dance that he did, I just feel you only want somebody intelligent and maybe a bit deeper and nicer, and I think that's what she deserves. But she was genuinely attracted, and when he was going on that date, she even got her glasses on to look better, didn't she? So she spot every, and she was the one that was completely, she looked like a bird watcher. I mean, her focus, and looked genuinely upset, not annoyed, but genuinely upset at what she was seeing. And I think that will be a real so in a way what I was seeing there was her vulnerability, her giggly side. I mean, she could probably knock him out the water in terms of intellect, but she just got so shy at that point, and that shyness usually does mean that you fancy somebody. But I'm worried. I think we're going to watch her get either her heart broken or mugged off or pied off or something like that.
All of them, yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to watch a summer of that with her, because she deserves somebody really spot on.
Michael and Amber. Now, Amber has been the big surprise this week. I'm going to be honest, last week I was done with her by like the end of the first episode. I think she's like a classic example of like, we should give people second chances. She's turned it all around. She's brilliant. I'm in love with her. She's now found a connection with Michael. So let's take a look at their first kiss, which happened this week. Not their first kiss, that's a lie.
Well, how about I just show you then?
What?
Come here.
No, what are you going to do?
What's it gonna be?
You're going to feel nervous. I don't like it.
Why are you so nervous around me?
Just
Don't you wanna be more afraid?
Amber's really had her guard up, I think, so far, and so been really honest and open about that as well. But Michael, so far, I feel like seems to have had a bit of patience with her. Are there any concerns from your point of view that she's pushing him away, though? Or how do you feel about these two?
I think, again, it was so interesting to see Amber, who looks like, you know, she's tough as whatever and speaks her mind. Suddenly she went to the giggly, slightly, really not quite sure how to play it side. And her gesticulation was so complex when he tried to kiss her that he would have been genuinely confused and hurt. I mean, we got the eyelash pinch. Did you see that one?
Yeah.
Don't ask me what it means, because it's a...
I think it might have been her fake eyelashes coming off.
Yeah, and she kind of did a lot of cut-offs. I think we found out afterwards that, what was it, she'd been drinking a drink, didn't want to kiss me. I love the way the guys all get ready. You can see their mouths getting ready when they're going to kiss, and licking and tongue poking and everything like that. But he did see her backing away. But she did tell him afterwards, it's fine, you know, I've used clean my teeth and everything, you can kiss me now. But I think we love watching Amber become a different woman, and I think that means that vulnerability that she's shown with him, I think means that she probably is genuinely interested. I think with Michael, people discover different layers of him. I think they probably judged him a little bit as the kind of Jack the Lad when he arrived. As you, Andy, found out, he's an intelligent guy as well. And I think that made her slightly on the back foot. But I love the way that they're now doing a Jack and Danny. You know, they're very much sitting together as though they've been together for about a million years.
Well, I was going to say, there was a scene in last night's episode where they pulled over Anton to have a chat with him. And with Amber and Michael, though, you know, he had his arm around her, they were very relaxed, and that seemed to have happened quite quickly.
Yes, I blinked. I rolled it back after that to find out at what point they got to that stage. But obviously it was just walking across the floor that they'd suddenly gone to a different level with their relationship. Not only did they look incredibly relaxed together, they'd also done what they do in the house when they pair off. They've become the sort of king and queen of the house. So, come over here, we're going to tell you off. They all go into a really tough parent role, don't they? Smug doesn't even begin to describe it. If I was the spare one in there, I'd be so annoyed. But yeah, suddenly they can give advice to everybody else because they're paired off.
Are there any body language cues that you would suggest Amber could use to help her lower her guard if she doesn't continue to do so? Is there anything you would suggest?
It's difficult with Amber because in a way that's what they like about her as well. You know, I think the guys that have shown an interest in her, they've all said, you know, I really like the way that you speak your mind and you're not easy to approach. But I suppose there does need to be a point at which she maybe gives them at least a couple of signals of interest, more eye contact, maybe not moving away quite so much, and keeping a slightly congruent facial expression, maybe even looking from their eyes down to their mouth. That's usually a nice little subtle flirt signal that she would perhaps not mind being kissed by them. But because she got so many guys that, or was it just two, that came up and said, you know, well, that didn't work, but, you know, she was like sloppy seconds, I think. So I think that quite rightly put the guard up a bit more. And I think by the time she met and started to get friendly with Michael, I think she was probably worried that was going to happen again. I think we forget, they don't know what has been said over the other side of the house, you know, the villa. It could be that he's had a conversation and said, well, that didn't work out with so-and-so, but Amber's still free. So I think in a way she's right to do it, but yeah, she might, when she gets a nice guy, which I hope Michael is, then he might get a bit paranoid that she genuinely is interested, which wouldn't be a good idea. Maybe reading his tattoos in close-up, you know, just having a quick inspection of the words written on his chest might do.
And finally, I wanted to quickly talk about Anton and actually Anna a little bit. They haven't coupled up with anyone really so far. What do you think they're doing wrong? What could they be doing when new people come in to sort of show their interest?
Probably two ends of the scale. I mean, with Anna, maybe she needs to... I think the boys have all said she can be a little bit intimidating. You know, she looks so gorgeous and strong, etc. I think we were surprised when her slightly softer side came out with Sherif. But yeah, I think she needs to maybe make a little bit more of an effort. She's very hair groomy, still ongoing selfie pose going on, and I think that might put them off a little bit. They might find her unapproachable. I'm sorry, I've forgotten his name.
Anton.
Anton's got to go the other way. I mean, he just comes and chats up everybody, doesn't he? And I think that's his problem. His chat-ups are very old-fashioned. He's still got it into his head that all the girls should fancy him. He's funny. I mean, it's hilarious to watch, but I think, unfortunately, by now, he's probably got the look of doom about him, because anybody going in now will know that he's tried it on with everybody. I think the only chance he's got now will be somebody that's been in there from the start, that might have seen that actually under all of those silly, boastful antics, he's a little bit insecure, or he will be by this time in the show, I would imagine, and that he's probably a bit of a laugh as well. So somebody's got to spot the diamond there, I think, behind all the bluster.
I don't know who that would be.
No. or want him for the big crisps that he sits nibbling, you know. He's funny to watch. I mean, he could just be spare all the time as far as I know. And I love the way that he doesn't mind about the bigger blokes, you know, he'll just try it on with their partners. Yeah. He's got a little bit of a death wish, but it's amusing to watch.
Yeah. Thank you so much for watching. We'll be back again next Thursday on metro.co.uk, and thank you, Judy.
And it is what it is.